Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the DII Nation Podcast. I'm your host, Wayne Cavadi, and joining me, as always, is Bethany Bowman. It was a wild week in D2 men's and women's basketball, Bethany. 5 teams in the top 10 on the men's side lost, leading to a complete shakeup in the D2 men's Power 10 rankings. Shameless plug, now on NCAA.com. And number 1 Drury was stunned on Monday night by Truman State, falling by 1 point. That led to a shakeup in the D2 women's Power 10, which is also on NCAA.com. And new number 1 is Fort Hays State. Bethany, you got all that?
2022 is off to a wild start on the hardwood for sure. This week, we are excited to welcome 2 players from one of those women's basketball teams on the rise. Of course, this school is no stranger to the spotlight, twice a national champion and setting the consecutive win record, 73 straight victories not long ago. Joining us today from the Ashland Eagles are Annie Roshak and Karlee Pireu. Welcome to the nation, ladies.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You know, we're excited. I'm excited that you're here, and I'll give you a little background why I started covering D2 women's basketball in 2015. So as members of that program, you know, that was kind of when the winning streak started and all the championships started. So it's really fun to have 2 players from that program here. Before we jump into the playing experience, why don't we get our listeners caught up to how you became part of Ashland? I see you're both from Ohio when we look at your bio. So I'm sure with Ashland being as good as they were already on your radar. Karlee, we'll start with you, and then Annie, what was the recruiting process like and what made you choose Ashland?
Yeah, so I had ended up committing to Ashland in the winter of my junior year. So my recruiting process was pretty early on in my high school career, but there's a multitude of reasons why I wanted to come to Ashland. But first and foremost, I wanted to play for a winning program. Like you said, being from Ohio, I always grew up knowing about Ashland, coming to camps here or AAU tournaments, and to have the opportunity to play for a program on the national stage and to win a national championship was pretty cool. And I knew I'd have a cool opportunity to do that at Ashland, on top of just the coaches, the team, the community. Just really close, and they're bought into making sure that we're more than just basketball players and making sure we get a full experience here, which was really important. And I wanted to grow in my faith, and that's something that I have been able to do here at Ashland. Really important to me and into our program, and that's something at Ashland that I knew was just different compared to the other schools that I had looked at.
Annie, how about you?
Yeah, a lot of the same reasons. It was close to home, which I loved. Didn't want to go too far. Like Karlee mentioned, the winning culture. And I think just the moment I stepped on campus, it was different. And I knew that that's where I wanted to be. And I loved it there. The coaches were awesome. All the teammates they were so helpful and welcoming. And I actually, I went to Hoover High School. And so I don't know if you remember Kelsey Pierre and Julie Worley and Maddie Blyer, they all actually went to Hoover. So I was able to watch them up through high school, and then they all came to Ashland. And so I was able to just have really honest conversations with them too, of like, is this what I think it is? Like, is this that good? And they're like, Annie, yes, like it's what you see is what you get. So that was a super big thing for me. And I mean, it's so true. I love it here. So.
And of course, I wanted to just throw out there that I'm sure Dusty Sloan, AKA one of the greatest SIDs in the history of SIDing, was a large reason you chose to go there, because he's a fellow baseball stat geek like myself, and I love talking with Dusty. So I'm sure that was instrumental in your final decision as well.
We spoke about that historic win streak earlier. Karlee, you were there for the back end of that. Now it didn't end the way you wanted to, but that had to be a wild experience as a freshman. What do you remember about it?
Yeah, that was an unbelievable experience. Obviously, with them winning the national championship the year before, and then to carry that success into that year was just awesome. I obviously was a freshman, but all of the players in my position that year were seniors. So when you look at Lena Snyder, Annie Doherty, Julie Worley, they just made me so much better, both on and off the court, especially every day in practice. So to get to use my freshman year and those experiences definitely carried and helped my sophomore year when a lot of the seniors had then graduated. But I just remember toughness. That was when I think of that team. They were tough and they were a lot of fun to play with. I mean, I think that showed on the floor. You obviously have to play tough and have a lot of fun in a journey like that. So definitely a lot of good memories from that freshman year.
Yeah, and you just talked about it, but did watching those players and the top scorers in program history help shape the leader that you became now?
Yeah, 100%. I've actually said since my freshman year, if I wouldn't have had that experience, I probably wouldn't have ended up having the career that I did. Just not only pushing me on the court, but seeing the way that they led and they made all of the players around them better. Coming into a leadership position of my own, and obviously my senior year last year and my grad year this year, just having that perspective has been really important to continue to lead and model for the younger girls under me. But the three of them did a phenomenal job my freshman year, so I definitely give them all the credit for that.
Annie, you get to play for a coaching staff that has former Ashland national champion players on it, which is pretty cool. So this is a two-part question. Let's start with Coach Pickens. What makes her so special that you could pretty much pencil in Ashland as a title contender every year?
Yeah, I think she's just a winner. She loves to compete, and I think that's shown in our program. Every drill is meant to be there is a winner and a loser, and it's not even just on the court stuff. She's the best off the court. She cares about us deeply, and she wants us to succeed in all areas of life, and I think that's her mentality, and it's been super cool to be under her, and especially me and Karlee as post. She's our post coach, and so she's helped us tremendously in that area. We're learning from one of the best, and so she's super awesome.
So, and to follow that up, like I said, when I started covering D2 women's basketball, I want to ask about Judy Johnson. I had to write a lot of articles about her. She was a freshman of the year. She was a player of the year, so, and you both played with her, right? I know Karlee definitely did. Annie, you played 1 year with her as well. What is that like? What's it like to have someone you played with now, a graduate assistant coach? Kind of must be a different relationship, right?
Yeah, for sure. She was another one who I was a freshman and she was a senior, and she just kind of took me under her wing, and I super appreciated everything she did for me that year, just helping me both on and off the court. But then now seeing her as a coach, and even her growth from last year to this year has been just so cool to see. And it is a different relationship, but I think also having played with her is it gives it a unique spin of just like, I know the real Coach Jones and just that kind of stuff. So we're still able to goof off and have fun together. But also at the end of the day, I respect her coaching and all that she has to say, because she's a great basketball mind. And like you said, a phenomenal player.
Yeah, I was going to say, I coached my 6-year-old daughter's soccer team. And when I need the gang to settle down, my daughter isn't the one that's helping me do that. She's the one that's goofing off just as much. So I imagine you guys sometimes could do that a little bit with Jody, which is a good dynamic to have, I'm sure.
Now Ashland is experiencing a new conference as you are undefeated in the GMAC. Karlee, Ashland has had some great rivalries in the GLIAC. Do you miss those already? And which teams that you played in the GMAC are you looking forward to playing again?
Yeah, I think like you said, those rivalries are obviously very special and something that we look forward to every year. But as much as we miss some of the rivalries, I think Grand Valley, especially in the last 3 or 4 years, has been a big rival for us. Even though we're not playing in those games, I think already being in the GMAC, we've been able to create some of those new rivalries. Walsh has traditionally always been really good, and our Kentucky Wesleyan game this year was extremely competitive, probably one of the most competitive games I've played in the last few years. So even though you were outside the GLIAC, I think some of those rivalries are already starting to form, and I would say us, Walsh, and Kentucky Wesleyan are definitely 3 of the top teams in the league, but definitely some of the most competitive games, especially as we look in our region as well.
Yeah. Walsh has been a power for a long time. And
Yeah,
that was a really close game that you two played, right? The first time around?
So we were at Walsh the beginning of the year. Yeah, it was a close game.
Yeah, I remember that. So the next question, it's no fun to ask, but it's something that's affecting everyone, and it's it's basketball in the age of COVID. It's hard for coaches, but then you look at it, and it's hard enough to be a student athlete as it is in a normal world, right? Now we have to throw COVID into the mix. I believe you just had a game canceled recently, right? Yourselves. Annie, we'll start with you. What are some of the challenges of playing in these unprecedented times?
Yeah, it's been interesting to say the least. I mean, it's definitely been a step up from last year, just being able to have fans back in, and I think that makes a big difference. But we just have to be really careful of putting ourselves at exposure and all of that stuff. And it's definitely been hard having games postponed and makeup dates and all that stuff. But, we're managing, getting through. And when, like we talked about making sacrifices for each other, not putting ourselves at high risk situations with a lot of people around, because, at the end of the day, we want to be playing with our teammates, with our best friends and that stuff. So that has really put it all into perspective for us. But yeah, nonetheless, it is hard for sure, but it's getting better, hopefully.
Yeah. Karlee, anything to add? I mean, you've lived through too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Annie said it best, definitely in terms of off-court stuff, just taking care of ourselves and each other. But I think on-court, something that our coaching staff has talked a lot about is next man up. It doesn't matter if you're a starter, a 6-man off the bench, or if you don't play a single minute. Every single girl on our team has to be ready at all times, because you never know, like you said, when COVID is going to hit or when situations with games gets canceled or anything like that. So I think that's something that our team is really focused on, and we've done a great job of executing, is just having everybody ready and prepared.
Well, this question's for both of you. I was a D2 student athlete, formerly myself. And so what makes D2 so special to both of you?
I got it. I think just the balance of, being a student and being an athlete. I love having summers off and that kind of stuff. Obviously we're still working out in that sense, but, you're able to go home, have jobs, have internships in that area. And, I could go on and on about being a D2 student athlete, but I think also being an Ashland student athlete, it's been just the biggest blessing. We're so supported both by the community, by our athletic department, by our program. And so I think it's been a great experience, and I'm super thankful for it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think I'd said it earlier, but one reason why I chose to come to Ashland was the ability to be more than a basketball player. And I think you can do that at a really high and successful level at the Division II level. Obviously, Annie said we're just supported so well by our community. It's awesome to have summers off, to get a week at Christmas to spend time with family and friends. But on top of that, just the opportunities to grow in my career. I've been able to have 3 internships as a result of being a Division II athlete, which is going to propel me in my career here after basketball. The class sizes are great, able to have a really personal relationship with all my professors, and obviously play basketball at a really high level too, which is great. So I'm just thankful for Division II and the opportunity to have so many great schools in our region for student athletes to have the opportunity to play. And that's really special.
Yeah, that region's no joke. But when Ashland and Drury and Grand Valley State are sitting at the top year in and year out, I hate to be one of the other programs that try to sneak their way in there. It makes it difficult. All right, well done. That was the easy part of the show, because here comes the difficult part of the show. We told you a little bit how it works before the show, and just to remind, last week was our first week doing it, so to remind our listeners how this is going to work, this is the new D2 Nation Hot Seat Match Game. We're going to ask both of you a question. You're going to write down your answer, and then we'll ask each of you to see if you can get the other teammate's answer correct and see how well you know each other off the court as you do on the court. All right. Are we ready?
Ready.
Yes.
All right. Bethany, let's get them started.
Okay, we'll start off easy. Which social media platform are you most addicted to?
Ooh.
And while they're writing their answers, let's go over some of Karlee's stats this year so you know what she's doing. This year, she's averaging 11.6 points per game. She's adding 4.4 rebounds per game, and she is one of the members of Ashland's 1,000 point club, 10th all time in Ashland history. I see the pens are down, so we're ready for our first answer. Annie, what is Karlee's most addicted social media platform?
I'm gonna have to go with Twitter.
Karlee?
I said TikTok.
Oh, dang it.
And Karlee, what's Annie's?
Before I would have said Instagram, but she's a new TikTok member, so I have to go with TikTok now.
And the answer is?
I said Instagram.
Oh,
Okay.
She's still on Instagram.
Yes.
She's getting there, though. She's getting there.
Yeah, for sure on the TikTok come up.
What song are you listening to pregame, or artist? What are you listening to pregame to get you hyped up?
And while they're writing their answers, I'll go ahead and read Annie's stats. And so she is leading the team in scoring with 18.1 points per game and rebounding at 6.1 per game. She's also a member of the Ashland 1,000 Point Club. So both our guests today on the show and the 1,000 Point Club. That's pretty cool. All right, I'm finishing up their answers. Looks like they're ready. So Annie, what is Karlee's answer?
I'm gonna go either country or Christian.
Yep, I said anything on my Christian playlist.
There you go. We got a match.
I'm not a big music person. I normally just listen to whatever the team plays. So that is a hard one. But yeah, I would definitely say anything on my Christian playlist.
Okay, and Karlee, what is Annie's answer?
I would say Christian playlist or Olivia Rodrigo. That would be her too.
Yes, on my Christian specifically, Phil Wickham.
Phil Wickham, yep.
Nice. All right, so we got a match there. Nice.
Nice, good job. Okay, what is your favorite binge-worthy television show?
And while they explore their Netflix playlists, let's go over what Ashland is doing this season. As we mentioned earlier, they moved up to number 3 in my latest Power 10 rankings. The Eagles are 13-1 this season and a perfect 8-0 in the GMAC. Just to put into perspective, we've been talking about how big a powerhouse this is. Ashland has lost 15 games in the past 5 years. That is not a lot. So it looks like the pens are down. Karlee, what is Annie's favorite binge-worthy television show?
This is a hard one. I would have to go with The Office.
I thought you were gonna get this one, KP. I just said I don't watch
TV. Yeah,
TV.
okay. That would have been what I would say. She doesn't watch TV at all, but I've got to start watching The Office.
But it would probably be The Office, yes.
And Annie, what's Karlee's?
KP likes to watch a lot.
So this is a tough one.
Oh my gosh. She definitely has liked The Office and Schitt's Creek.
Two good
But I
ones.
feel like there's one she's watching right now that I don't know, so I'm just gonna go with The Office.
That's right.
Yes.
I was watching all of season 3 last night, as a matter of fact, so I'm right there with you.
Love it.
Okay, so it's not a game day. You don't have to worry about what you're eating. So what is your favorite meal to eat on a non-game day?
Well, they answer, Ashland has been a national champion twice since 2013 with that national runner-up finish in 2018. In 2017, the Eagles became the 4th program to go undefeated in a season. Pretty impressive.
Very impressive.
All right, you guys finishing up now. And so I guess, Karlee, what is Annie's favorite non-game day meal?
I'd have to go with combo, which is our dining hall's chicken parm. With ice cream for dessert. She has to have some ice cream.
Always ice cream, but I said Chipotle or tacos.
I'm on a taco kick myself.
All right, Annie, what is Karlee gonna eat?
Probably salmon and rice.
I actually said Chipotle too.
So you're actually a match and you didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, next one. What is your favorite sports movie?
Any sport. It doesn't have to be basketball.
Yep. Wayne, what's your favorite sports movie?
It's always tough. You know, I'm going to lean towards baseball. I throw The Sandlot up there just because I love watching that movie and it makes me laugh. But I know I probably should pick something a little bit more serious than The Sandlot. What about you?
I'm probably going to Remember the Titans, but if I had to pick baseball, I'm going to go with Moneyball.
That's a good one, too.
All right, do you girls have your answers?
Yes.
Okay. Karlee, what is Annie's favorite movie?
Well, very similar to her TV response, she also does not watch movies at all. So I'm going to go with she doesn't have one. She doesn't have a favorite.
Okay, no guess. You know it.
I have to guess then. I honestly have no idea. The Blind Side.
Oh, no, KP. The Sandlot.
I would not have known that.
We're a match. We're a match. It's
Yeah,
okay.
you guys matched.
I was foreseeing what Annie's answer was going to be when I answered that.
Yeah.
Annie, what's Karlee's?
I'm gonna go with Remember the Titans.
Nope. I said The Blind Side.
The Blind Side. I should have known when you said that.
Yeah, I don't know. That was all
You guys, you both matched with us though, so at least we got a match in there.
true.
Who is your favorite professional sports team? Any sport, if whichever one you want.
Or Wayne, while they're doing theirs, you pick mine, I'll pick yours.
Well, I know that you're excited for this weekend because you're a Chiefs fan.
Yeah.
I don't know overall favorite team.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yours is the Braves.
Definitely up there. I mean, I'm a baseball guy, so I mean, I grew up watching the Yankees, but the Braves have just overtaken me since I've moved to Atlanta. So I'd have to say you're right.
The Royals farm system, though, they're on the come up.
I know. I watch them too.
Give us a
All right. I see the pens are down. Favorite professional sports team? Annie, what is Karlee's?
I'm gonna go with the Indians.
Cleveland, but I said the Browns.
And what's Annie's?
I was thinking the Indians for her.
Cavs.
Cavs.
We're at least close with that.
How long have you liked the Cavs?
I mean, I feel like just being a Northeast Ohio, that's just kind of been the team,
Yeah, that's
before
what
LeBron, after LeBron.
Yeah. At least you stuck with them. That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you had a little bit of fun. That we had fun. We always have fun doing that. So, and we want to thank you for coming on. Like we said, we know you have a game today, so we really do appreciate you taking the time, and wish you the best of luck the rest of the way, and stay safe and keep winning ball games. But remember, D2 Nation, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and anywhere else you want to listen to a podcast. Give us a follow, and we'll see you next week on the D2 Nation.